What's up, good people? It's me, Shelby, here to showcase my vinyl record collection. And the reason why I kind of want to showcase my vinyl record collection, because I do see a lot of people doing it on YouTube. I figure I might as well do it since I am a true collector. Um, I have to admit, though, that I had reservations of showcasing my collection because I do see a lot of people doing it. So I do think that it's become really gimmicky on YouTube with a lot of people doing it. But I do enjoy the serious vinyl record collector videos. So just to name a few people, I enjoy Devoted to Vinyl, for example. Shout out to him. Shout out to Noble Records. Shout out to Miss Lady Soul. So just to name a few people. So another record store YouTube channel. I can't remember the name. It's a lady. I think it's I can't remember. It's off the top of my head. But anyway, I'll shout her out in the next video once it comes to mind. But otherwise, I do see other people just showcasing their vinyl record collection. Yeah, it's getting kind of gimmicky. So, but what I'm going to do is focus more on the underground hip hop, since I have not really seen or come across videos that talk about underground hip hop, overall just hip hop culture, some soul, funk, boogie records, etc., jazz records. So, I'm gonna really focus more on that around my videos. I am an avid CD collector and tape cassette collector, so I'll be talking about my vinyl record for the most part, but I do collect CDs and cassette tapes, so I'll showcase some of that stuff as well. I've been collecting records for about 30 years, so I like all genres of music, no matter how old it is. If it's good, it's good. I am a black vinyl record lover, so I prefer that kind of vinyl compared to the color vinyl. That said, I don't have anything against color vinyl. It's come a long way. It's almost caught up to black vinyl. It's not just there yet, but it is catching up significantly. I just prefer the black vinyl though, because of the tradition. You know, it's nostalgic. And those are some of the reasons. And plus, to me, even though the real vinyl record collector don't want to say it, but the black vinyl record, in my view, still outweighs the color record overall in terms of quality and sound. So, although, like I said, color records have caught up almost to the black vinyl record. And what kind of discredit color records, in my opinion, is the clear records. So if your record album is very clear, like you can see through it almost, and you know the sound is definitely going to be affected. Or if there's too much animated stuff on the vinyl record, even though it looks really cool to a lot of young people, all that stuff that's on the record, and I do have some albums that are like that, may potentially distort that record some in terms of sound. And you know, the glow in the dark records and all that stuff is just not good. So I just don't want to, I just prefer the black records. I'm going to talk about my 45s too, so I have some of that stuff. So yeah, I'm just going to get to it, man. And this video here might be a 20-minute video. I'm going to try not to have it be that long, but it's my first video. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of background of how I am as a collector. So I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That's where I'm from. I lived in New York City for quite a bit. But I'm back in Milwaukee now, and in a suburb of Milwaukee rather, but I'm from the city of Milwaukee. And yeah, that's it. That noise in the background, you hear our NBA playoffs. The Bucks are in the playoffs, and they won the championship last year, so I'm just watching the playoffs. But anyway, I'm gonna just get right to it, man, and not waste you guys time anymore. But shout out to all the real vinyl collectors. I appreciate you guys. I'm looking at your videos, so shouts out to you guys. First album I got here is Brass Construction. Now, this is a group from the 70s, and this album I think came out in 1979. Brass Construction. I got this record for $4. And on the surface, for the most part, cover's not looking bad, right? I mean, it's got some little thing here, but on the surface, it looks good. And I checked the vinyl record, and the vinyl record's great. But what kind of devalued the album a little bit was this little crease right here. It's like a little right there. And that's what brought the whole album, as far as the value of it, down. And it was pre-owned, so I figured I'd buy it because I am a fan of the group. And yeah, so just to let you guys know, you want to take care of the point is, I guess, you want to take care of your record as much as possible. You don't want, because if you're a true collector, I'm talking to all the young people that's trying to get out there and collect records and showing off their records and opening it up, and cool how the color vinyl is and all that stuff, but you really want to take good care of your records, okay? You don't want to be pulling out the vinyl record and trying to show off how cool it is, because you can, you may potentially warp it or whatever it is. I wouldn't do that. Just do this and like, hey, and that's it. But anyway, brass construction. My next one is 7 Days of Funk, Snoop Dogg and Dame Funk. Dame Funk is a producer out of California, and obviously Snoop Dogg's from LA, but this was a great album. This is a great project that they put out. This album came out in 2013, Stone Throw Records, and I have to say that I think Snoop shines best over these kind of beats and production. If you enjoyed Doggy Style, you would love this record right here. This is pretty much a follow-up to Doggy Style, and I like Snoop Dogg's other projects. They're really good, but this is I mean, he brought out a lot of Snoop. I think Snoop shines and flourishes really well over these kind of beats. So this was my favorite album, but one of them of the decade. This album came out in 2013, so from 2010 through 2019, I think I only put 2 albums over this. And the first one was Nas and Damian Marley's Distant Relatives, and the second one was Kendrick Lamar's Pimp to Pimp a Butterfly. But this was probably third. I don't think it was fourth. So go on YouTube, look it up. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. It is a great project. This is one of Snoop's best work. So go look them up. It's pretty dope. We got Luther Ingram, I've Been Here All the Time. A very popular 70s artist. And he has a couple of songs on here that I like. I know that Q-Tip from A Tribe Called Quest and Ali Shaheed Muhammad took a song from here and sampled it and put it on their debut album, People's Instinctive album that came out. Jay Dilla sampled to the other man. Yep, sampled to the other man, and gave it to Ghostface Killer as far as the beat when he was done with it. Luther Ingram, man, rest in peace to him. This is a good album. So yeah, just want to let you know this is Luther. You got J Electronica, a written testimony. I have not opened this yet, so I do own an album already. So, but I have not opened this one. And on the cover, it says in Arabic, written testimony. So this is a dope album. I have not opened it, and people would often ask me, why haven't you opened it? It still could be damaged, it still could be warped or whatever, and that's a good point. But I do tend to take good care of my records, so I haven't opened it, so it still would be worth something if I decide to sell it, which is highly unlikely. But yeah, this is a dope album, and I haven't opened it yet, and I'm gonna keep it that way. We got the Ebonys. I believe this album came out in 1973, I think. You can correct me if you want, but the standout track is You're the Reason Why. Anne-Marie did a remix to Why Don't We Fall in Love. Okay, she did a remix, and they sampled You're the Reason Why. And she did that song was done really, really well. She flipped it, whoever produced it for her, and go on YouTube and look up that remix. Anne-Marie's Why Don't We Fall in Love. That's the remix, and you'll see what I mean. So they sampled a record from here, You're the Reason Why, and I think Alchemist and other people started to use the same sample because of that remix that Amory put out. So this is a dope record. Philadelphia International Records. They're from Philadelphia, obviously, and Philadelphia, as you know, has produced a lot of great artists from the 60s on up to present. So yeah, shouts out to the Ebonys. We got Barry White, Sings for Someone You Love. So this is the album here. Standout Cut, Playing Your Game, Baby. Dope record. This is I can't even say this is the back of the cover right here for Barry White. I can't say enough, man. Rest in peace to Barry White, man. And this is a dope album. I love it. I play this record. I play that record quite often. But yeah, dope record. We got Marvin Gaye in Our Lifetime. I think this album came out in 1980. I could be wrong, but 1980, Tamla Records is pretty much an extension of Motown Records. And yeah, Marvin Gaye, I think, produced this album himself. So I think this is the point where he was starting to get over his wife, that divorce that they had in the mid-70s. You could tell he was affected by that divorce in his songs and his records and albums. I think he dedicated a whole album called Here My Dear, which came out in the mid-70s. And he was clearly affected by the divorce and how things went down with him and his wife. And then there was another album right after that where he was still kind of dealing with that. But this album is when he kind of turned the corner from that, and I think he was getting over it. So lots of funky grooves and bass lines on this album. It's been sampled by a couple of artists, a couple of songs off this album, but this is the turnaround from him. He was kind of trying to get himself back on track. Of course, there were other issues going on that nobody knew about that was going on in his life at the time. But yeah, this is when he was at least getting over his divorce, in my view. We got the Notorious B.I.G. This is a reissue with the Die album. I have the CD and cassette to this that I bought in the 90s. So I have the original copy of the original CD and the original cassette tape. But this is a reissue vinyl. So I think I spent like $40 on this. It's a black vinyl, it's not color, so I'm happy about that. Yeah, B.I.G., rest in peace. Another reissue right here is Jill Scott, Words and Volume Sounds 1. And this is a reissue. The original would cost you some money pending the shape of the record. So if the record's in really good shape, you're probably looking at $100 if this was the original one. But this is a reissue, and I spent like maybe $40 on this. So something like that. Yeah, shouts out to Jill Scott, a Philadelphia artist. Dope. We got another reissue of Salon Village. So this is not the original. I do own the CD. I don't have the cassette, just the CD. And this is a reissue. The original will cost me probably, if I wanted the original pressings of this, would probably cost me about $100. But this is a reissue, and I'm cool with that. I still will go after the original. Jay Dilla, T3 and Batan. Jay Dilla is a world-renowned producer, and if you have a good ear, you know what he did in terms of when he brought out a lot sampling. So he brought out a lot with the samples, and a lot of producers took note of that, and he kind of like got a lot of respect from everybody, from Dr. Dre, Q-Tip, Pete Rock, DJ Premier, everybody, you know, love Jay Dilla. So yeah, man, just a dope album. Definitely, it's a classic to me. We got Kool and the Gang, Loud and Peaceful, and now if I sound a little parched and tarts, it's because I went running today and I'm tired, so my apologies. But Loud and Peaceful, Kool and the Gang. This album came out in the 70s. This is when they were more like jazz, funk, R&B type of band back then. They're from New Jersey. Lots of funky grooves and bass lines on here. Been sampled by a couple people, a couple of artists. But this is a really dope album. In the 70s, I really liked Kool and the Gang. Kool and the Gang in the 70s was just, man, you couldn't go wrong with them. This was a funk, R&B, jazz the main thing, they're jazzy, but like I said, it was the 80s when they kind of turned the corner a little bit and went more on a mainstream R&B tip, and the records were still good, they were still great, but when they brought in J.T. Taylor and decided to go the R&B route and make it a little bit more mainstream, it was still soulful, but you could tell it was mainstream. That's that route they went in the 80s, but that's okay because the records is good. As long as the record's good, it's all good with me. But I do like them better in the 70s. So we got Rick James busting out the L7 right here, busting out the L7. My favorite joint on here is Cop and Blow. The bass line is just ridiculous, and that groove, just man, that bass line, that guitar, he's going to town with that, just great. This is a dope album, man. So I highly recommend it. You can't go wrong with Rick James, man. I'm trying to make this less than 20 minutes, so it's been 15 minutes already. So I'm not gonna go into detail about the album, but it is a good album. We got Anderson .Paak, Venice. I have not opened this yet. This is when he was like in his underground days. He wasn't as popular as he is now. But yeah, this is a dope album. I love Anderson .Paak. Everything he's done, this has been really good. So I think he's definitely, I think he's gonna have a great career, and I'm kind of glad he's getting the attention he deserves. I mean, he's worked really hard, but this is a good album. And this one here, I haven't opened it yet. This is Maxwell Now album. This is a really good album. I think out of all the albums he's done, this is the most slept on one. A lot of people don't realize how good this album is. Get to Know Ya, Lifetime, For Lovers Only is pretty dope. This is also a colored album, so it's a root beer color vinyl. So that's what you'll get. I think in Europe though, this album was out in vinyl, so very, very limited, but this was out in Europe in vinyl. Just the United States that you didn't really see it, or Canada you didn't really see the album. It's just Europe. I could be wrong on that, but I know my source. If my sources are correct, this was out in vinyl in Europe only. But don't quote me on that. But anyway, they put the record out in root beer color. I got Erykah Badu, Worldwide Underground. Dope album. You know, Erykah Badu always comes through. She's very, very consistent. This is a dope record. This is the original one. So this is the original pressing. I know that they put a reissue out in purple vinyl, but I have the original, so I'm just glad because I don't want the color vinyl personally. If I have to have it, I'll have it. If I had no choice, like that Maxwell one. We got The Far Side. This is their debut album, A Bizarre to The Far Side. This is a reissue, so this is not the original. I have not opened it yet. I have the cassette and CD of this. I bought the cassette back in '92, and I bought the CD around '94. So I had the cassette first. When they very, very first dropped the album, I bought the cassette first. 2 years later, I bought the CD, and then I bought this. So I wish I would have got the. If I try to get the original one on vinyl now, it'll cost me a lot of money. So, but I'm just gonna stick with this for now. I still may go after it because I do want the original stuff. Yeah. And we got Bob James. Bob James 1, jazz artist from the 60s and 70s. This album 1 is a certified classic. If you are a producer in the hip hop game especially, you know you have this record. Everybody from Ninth Wonder, Dr. Dre, Slick Rick, Run DMC, especially Run DMC, DJ Premier, Pete Rock, everybody has sampled this record right here, boy. Bob James, Ghostface Killer, RZA, and he didn't know that his songs were being sampled by hip-hop artists. He didn't know till around the 90s, and he took issue with it. He did not like it. But in the 2000 era, he kind of changed his tune a little bit because of you know, when people started to wonder where those sounds were coming from, and found out that he was the creator of those sounds. Hip hop kind of guided those young people to Bob James, and so Bob James, you know, built a relationship with the rappers over time, and he understands. He understands that he would probably be less known today if it wasn't for some of those hip hop artists doing, sampling his records, because it's bringing a lot of young people to him. So, but yeah, this is a dope record, man. And Bob James, can't go wrong with that. So, all right, so it's been 20 minutes, and I do got some more vinyl and all that stuff, but I'm just gonna stop it here because I don't want the video to be too long. I'm in my basement here, so that's why it looks kind of weird with all the lighting reflecting off the vinyl with the covers on it. Shout out to everybody, man. Thank you so much. If you liked the video, just hit the like button. If you didn't, that's fine. It's all good. No sweat. Subscribe if you want. And shouts out to all you guys collecting records, to the crate diggers, from the crate diggers to the young people that's doing it now, just trying to get into the game. But yeah, that's it, man. I'm going to showcase some other stuff a little later. Other than that, you guys take care, man. Peace and love.